Hey, what's up? It's Chris from chrisbeatcancer.com, and today I have the pleasure of talking with and interviewing Ian Jacklin. Ian is a documentary filmmaker and a kickboxing champion, and he made a really amazing documentary about people who cured themselves of cancer, after the doctors were not basically unable to help them. And that movie's called icurecancer.com. And when I saw it, I was like, man, I gotta interview Ian. Clearly, he's an awesome dude. So I want to help share his story and what he's doing now. So anyway, Ian, man, thanks for talking with me.
Hey, my pleasure. It's funny. I had already been following some of your posts, and I thought, man, this is a young guy, and he really got his act together. He knows what he's talking about, and he's taking steps to try and help others. And that's the key. You know, a lot of people might discover that cancer is curable, do it on their own, and then go back into the woodwork. You're standing up and shouting at the top of your lungs, look, folks, you don't have to die. You've been misled, and I respect that. So it's a pleasure for me to be here with you, brother.
Man, thanks so much. And you know, it's funny that you said that too, because I was almost one of those people.
Really?
Because yeah, I went back into the woodwork. Like, you know, I had cancer in 2003, and I had surgery, and then I used nutrition and natural therapies instead of chemotherapy to heal myself and restore my health. And of course, all that's on my site, chrisbeatcancer.com. But you know, I just basically went back to work, and after about 7 years, 7 years later, I was like, you know, people kept hearing about what I did and asking me, and you know, kind of word got around, and I kind of thought, all right, well, it's been 7 years, maybe I should, you know, try to share my story publicly. Maybe I can help more people, and that's when I started my blog or whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, you're right. There's so many people out there that you don't even hear about them that have healed themselves of cancer, and they just, you know, get on with their life. And so that's part of my mission too, like you, is to share as many of those stories as possible, because I really believe that we can learn from the experience of others.
Yeah, back like 15 years ago when I first learned about this, and this is cool because I'll explain my story real quick in a nutshell. I was dating this girl named J. Cynthia Brooks. We were doing a play together, a beautiful actress. Always had a crush on her, as the story goes, and we're still good friends to this day. She had just cured herself of terminal cervical cancer, and it just blew my mind. So I've never had cancer. A lot of people think I have, and that's why I do what I do. No, she's tossed me the ball, and I was like, all right, I'm going for a touchdown with this because this is going to help other people. And if I ever did get cancer, I'd also know what to do, or my family. So basically, I just learned that and figured that, you know, if this story was on the nightly news, these stories, everybody was saying, oh, they just cured themselves of terminal lung cancer. You know, then it would get in their psyche that is possible. Right now, there's nothing like that. It's, as you know, it's the medical mafia runs our medical system right now. So you're never going to hear the truth unless you get on the internet like this. And thank God for the internet, because if it wasn't for this, we'd still all be in the dark ages. You know.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, as long as the internet is still uncensored, which
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I don't know how much longer that'll go.
If they take that away, they may get the revolution they've been looking for.
Yeah, there'd be some trouble. So okay, so your girlfriend had it, and I mean, it just kind of blew up in your mind, and you're just like, this is amazing. I got to do something with this. I got to make a documentary about it. I mean, how did that all come together?
Yeah, basically, because I didn't even believe her at first. At first, I was thinking maybe she's just saying this to be cool, you know, to try and impress me or something, which is silly. But it was just so hard to believe, you know, that my doctor, and again, I always liken anything to my mother or my family, my loved ones. Like if they went to the doctor, sent to an oncologist, would be sent to get radiation chemosurgery. End of story. And I didn't understand that, so it was good. I was a skeptic, because there's so many skeptics out there still that I have to confront, or they confront me all the time, who I can always disarm in a matter of moments, because I've got enough up here now. But that's because I played the skeptic. When I was making, I said, okay, the best way to get to people's documentaries, you know. So, and I was just an actor at the time. I didn't even know how to shoot or edit or anything. So I taught myself. I was looking for money all along. I had friends that had millions of dollars. You know, 50, 100 grand would have been a drop in a bucket to them. But they either didn't believe it or they're just, you know, rich people. I don't like to part with their money even for good causes. So I said to hell with it, and I taught myself how to shoot and how to edit, and with a couple of documentaries I made, one in New York City, one in upstate New York. And then as soon as I thought I was good enough, I just started shooting cancer patients that had cured themselves of cancer. Because as a fighter, I don't know if we've mentioned this yet, but I used to be a kickboxing champion. And I also boxed with Lennox Lewis. So I always went to the best of the best. And who were the champions? I wanted to be champion. Who's the champion? Lennox Lewis. I got to train with him. Some of the best kickboxers in the world. So same thing with anything else. So I started putting the camera in front of the people that have, as far as I'm concerned, like yourself, you're the heavyweight champ of the world for cancer curing, because you did it on your own with no side effects, and it's probably not going to come back, you know. So that's what I started to do, was study the champions, basically, and put it on tape for others to see, because the eyes don't lie. You know, we're looking at your soul when we're doing this, whether it's on video or not. So you can tell if somebody's giving you the gears or not, more or less. I mean, the odd shyster might slip through, but in general, you know, and especially if I'm the one doing the interviews, I'm talking to them off camera beforehand, the people they know, and I can read energy pretty well and tell if somebody's giving me the gears or not. And they never are. I mean, why would anybody go out of their way to, you know what I mean, to mislead somebody? It's like they're like you cured yourself. Holy crap, this worked, you know. And you're very smart on that colon cancer that you had, because Dr. Bernardo, who's, you know, the star of my first film, one of the stars, remember him screaming at the camera, if you have colon cancer, it will always come back. Why? They didn't address the problem. The problem is acidosis. You die of acidosis, you don't die of cancer usually. And that's the thing. If they would have cut out your tumor, fine, and then they think, oh, chemo and radiation, just in case there's any rogue cells. Oh, you think? They just cut into it, they cut it out, they're flowing all through your body now, you know. So basically, to have done the alkaline diet, which I'm sure you did, raise your pH, correct? Is that how you did it?
Yep, big part of it.
That's the way to do it, the only way to do it. They just did a story on me. I don't know if you caught that. Well, it wasn't on me. It was on Jeff Speakman, the martial art guy from back in the 90s. He had a big movie out called The Perfect Weapon. He was like a hero to all us young guys coming up. And now he's got throat cancer. So one guy that has interviewed me before because of my kickboxing years, he also knows I'm now fighting the whole cancer industry. So he asked my opinion. So half the article's about poor Jeff Speakman getting this cancer, and I didn't know he was going to write all this in, but he said, yeah, Jeff said, the doctor said I got a 90%, he's got stage 4 throat cancer, which means it's spread everywhere, and it's really bad, and he can't get surgery because of the vocal cords, and it's a 90% chance that the doctors at his hospital are going to help him. Now, I hope and pray that's true, but from what I know, nobody has 90% success rate in stage 4 cancers other than Dr. Kelly, who had the enzyme protocols, who Dr. Gonzalez in New York City is now doing that program. So he may have 90% success rate with pancreatic cancer, and probably most cancers, but no Western medicine has that kind of. So I don't know if Jeff was just trying to be kind to his fans, didn't want to worry him, but if you got stage 4, and so I go on to, basically he asked me what I would do if I was in the situation. I said, well, if it's a tumor, 3% success rate with chemo. That's a known fact across the board. You can look it up in different countries, different studies, 3%. Placebo effect is in upwards of 20% in some cases, so you're better off doing nothing than you are getting chemo. So I basically went on and said, if he did what you did, alkaline diet, detox the system, pump up the immune system, he has a good chance of not only getting rid of it, but it never coming back. But he's going for full-on radiation and chemo, and I just feel so bad. There's not. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's going to make it. I really hope he does. It's just that like Patrick Swayze came along, and I was trying to get a hold of him because again, he had pancreatic cancer. Dr. Kelly, and which you can get via Dr. Gonzalez, 90% success rate with that. Western medicine can't touch that figure. Who's LDL? There's every star you can think of for the last, ever since I've been doing this 15 years or so. I wanted to get a hold of them and say, look, try, just have an open mind and look at this. And not just stars either. Any human being that crosses my path, I try and put them on the straight and narrow, which the unfortunate part is they've been brainwashed You know, as I was when I was making the film, I kept thinking I'm going to prove these guys to be quacks, and that my doctor, oncologist, whoever is right. These guys are quacks. There's no way this kind of travesty could be going on in this day and age, but it is.
It
Sad.
is. Well, you know, it's really interesting that you said that. I'm glad you just said the bit about you know, the celebrities, because you know I get that question, I'd say kind of frequently, where people, this is a common question that, well, what about Steve Jobs? What about Farrah Fawcett? I mean, you know, they had all this money. How come they couldn't cure their cancer? And you know, my answer to that question is, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It's all about the decision you make to treat yourself. You know, so whether you're rich or poor.
The other thing, there is no silver bullet. You know, that's the first thing I tell people. Look, this isn't, you know, magic. I'll tell you this. The statistics are 3% success rate for most chemos, most cancers, up to 40% for some of the blood cancers, but even 40, 50%. That's horrible. When you look at hemp oil, is almost 100% in anything. That's the latest thing. Anybody out there has cancer right now, I don't care how you get it, get some hemp oil. You'll be very pleased within a few months, from what I hear.
You're talking about cannabis. You're talking about cannabis oil, right?
Yeah, cannabis hemp oil from Rick Simpson. I've been investigating a lot of that lately, and I've been on the radio with Rick Simpson himself a couple times. And you just look on YouTube, Google Rick Simpson hemp oil, and look at how many people are getting on there saying, look, I used to have skin cancer right here. Here's the pictures, and they'll show you the boom, 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 boom all the way along until it's gone. I mean, the proof's in the pudding, so that's another great thing. But we're getting off line there. What were we originally talking? Oh, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs. I have to say this because I get that one all the time too. Steve Jobs. They think he was, you know, sometimes geniuses are so smart they're stupid. I know, because a lot of my friends are geniuses, 200 IQs, but they can't walk and chew gum at the same time sometimes, you know. And I think some of them may get arrogant. I don't know what his issue was. I never met him, but I know that people are trying to put alternative medicine as a bad thing because he tried it and it didn't work. He didn't. He was just a vegan. And being a vegan's not good for you. A lot of people are going to be pissed at me for saying that, but it's true. 6% of the population can handle a vegan lifestyle. Everybody else needs meat. It's just the way we're made. There's a book called Eat for Your Blood Type or something. You know, I'm type O. I'm definitely a meat eater. Yeah. So, and then I'm not talking factory farming meat. I'm talking organic, free range, that kind of thing. Nothing from the regular superstore. That factory farming is so full of steroids and crap. It's disgusting. But anyway, so the Steve Jobs story, well, he tried alternative. It didn't work. No, he didn't try alternative. He was just a vegan his whole life, which was bad for him. That's probably why he got cancer. You need to eat meat. And so that's it, you know. That was his story, and it's too bad because if he would have, okay, some people, and even if you go vegan, say for 3 months, it's okay, it's helpful to detox. So if he would have done it 3 months, but took enzymes, but took high dose vitamin C, took Laetrile, took DMSO to put all that as a penetrator into the cells, I bet he would have made it, you know.
Yeah, you know, the one thing they never said about Steve Jobs, they definitely used his story to try to demonize nutrition and natural therapies, but you notice they never said what he did. I've looked and looked and looked to what did he do? I want to know. What did he do?
I really had to dig to find it. I really had to dig to find it. And I found guys like you and I that are already in this but been doing it longer. That's where I heard it, you know, word around the campfire. I had it on one of my Facebook posts at one time. But yeah, that's all he did was try the vegan thing, and that was it. And that's not enough.
Yeah. No, it's, you know, it's funny that you said 3 months. That's what I did. I did 3 months raw vegan. That was like phase 1. And then I was working with a naturopath, and he added clean meat, just like we talked about, organic, grass-fed, free-range meat back into my diet because I was not able to maintain a healthy weight on a raw vegan diet. I mean, literally, I was 6'2", 135 pounds. I mean, yeah, like skeleton man. And so, again, it's a very powerful detoxification diet, cleansing diet, healing diet, but for a lot of people, it's not sustainable long term. And that's the main thing. It's like, I don't want to get in fights with vegans about this, but a lot of people get really caught up in the dogma of veganism being the healthiest diet for all. And you really have to eat a diet that works best for your metabolic type, your blood type, and your body type. we're different body types. We're the same blood type, you and I, but I'm an ectomorph. I'm a skinny guy anyway, and I have a
Right.
super high metabolism.
Right.
And
And I'm right in the middle, so that's different. Yeah.
yeah, so anyway, but for anybody listening, it's really important that you look at your blood markers and your biomarkers and really see what impact your diet is having on your physiology.
Yeah. The smartest guy I've probably interviewed to date, his name's Dr. Nick Gonzalez. He's the guy he was in Suzanne Summers' book. He's the enzyme therapy guy, and who I was just talking about that has the 90% success rate, or at least Dr. Kelly's studies say 90% on pancreatic cancer. He told me, he goes, you're a meat eater. I go, yeah. How did you know? He goes, yeah, I can just tell you're kind of, you're energetic, you're an action kind of guy, you're a leader. I mean, he said, you don't need blood tests or anything like that to figure out if you're a meat eater or not. If you wake up dreaming of bacon, you're a meat eater. And I do that all the time. I love bacon. Shit, I'd eat bacon ice cream if they had it. So yeah, it's very true. So he's got 10 different diets, I think, for people. And he also taught me something too, which I haven't researched enough yet. But he taught me that, because I always thought anybody that has cancer, it's because they're acidic. Their pH level is low, down around 5. And if you get it up to 7.2, 7.4, as you know, cancer can't live. Well, apparently with the blood cancers, he's telling me it's the opposite, that you're too alkaline. Have you heard this before?
I absolutely have heard that.
Okay. I've heard it just from him. What?
From him.
Okay, yeah.
I've heard that from him, yeah.
I don't know enough about it, but so that's an interesting thing. One of my friends now, who I'm following for my movie, Part 2, I Cure Cancer Part 2, which is focusing on the fact that even though, say, you and I now know how to cure cancer, right? You especially, because you did it. Let's say you have a child, and your child has brain cancer or some kind of cancer, and you want to treat him holistically because you know how to do it. You know it's going to work, and you know chemo, radiation, and surgery is going to kill him. You can't do that. Legally, they will take your child away from you, throw you in jail, and force that child chemo. I am following 2 families going through this right now. And I hate to say it, I don't see happy endings, but I'm hoping for it. But they've got them. The kids are being forced to chemo, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's murder. It's pure murder. There's a great movie called Cut, Poison, and Burn that follows a couple other families that went through this. And it's just, I don't know how. I mean, I understand them maybe not having any feelings for us adults because we're just numbers to them, useless eaters as they call us. But children, you're going to do this to children. So that's why I wanted to call Part 2 Baby Killers. But people are kind of saying, well, it's kind of negative. That's what they are. You know, guys like Ty Bollinger, you know, on naturalnews.com, he's saying, no, call them that. That's what they are. He's energetic and a warrior like me. He's like, call it baby killers. But anyway, I haven't decided on that. So, but I'm following these 2 families and just hoping that, well, there's really nothing you could do. Once they get you, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, once you're on their radar, and I have seen Cut, Poison, Burn. In fact, I saw the screening at Cancer Control Society a couple of years ago when it first came out. But yeah, it's a very powerful movie, and a lot of people don't realize that if you try to pursue any kind of nutrition or natural therapies for your child, instead of chemo and radiation, that you will be in jeopardy of the government taking your child away from you, Child Protective Services taking your child away from you, and forcing chemotherapy and radiation on your child. And that is terrifying, even for somebody like me that has all this information and I've just packed my head full of knowledge. Yeah, I mean, still, the thought of having to deal with that is extremely scary, and I hope I never have to. So, but hang on, let me make sure, because for anybody watching this, they've got to watch your first movie. It's icurecancer.com. I don't know if we've plugged it yet, but I want to make sure I plug it because it's really, really awesome. I mean, it's just, you want to hear from more survivors and doctors that are treating cancer successfully, naturally, and survivors that have done it. Here's a bunch of them. icurecancer.com. And you can go there, buy a copy of the movie, and also donate to help fund Ian's a new project, which is basically part 2. That's what he's talking about right now, which is really focused in on, like you said, about what to do if your child has cancer, like kind of how the industry works, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for reminding me about that. Yeah, and if, again, nobody's funding me for this. Again, I thought after I proved myself by making the first one on my own, you know, somebody would come along and go, you know what you're doing, kid, and you got a good heart. Here's $100,000, here's 50 grand, whatever. Go do it. Just keep doing what you're doing. Now, I've got the people behind me that are doing that, that don't have the 150 grand or whatever to give me. So they'll buy a movie for $35. Sometimes somebody will send me $3 because they really believe in what I'm doing, but they can't afford it, which I totally understand. Month to month, I live. You know, my rent's due in a couple of weeks. I've got, I think, maybe $7 to my name, and I got to come up with $1,000. And I'm not working. I can't work because of my kickboxing days. I got a bad hip. I think I need a hip replacement. Like Chuck Norris had both his hips replaced. A couple of guys I studied. I guess it's par for the course when you're a wicked kicker. Like I was known for being one of the best kickers. Paying for it now. So it's just kind of a nightmare. But I never got any big Hollywood people to come behind me because, again, I'm trashing Big Pharma. I'm trashing the Illuminati. Like, if you look back, and not to get too deep and crazy, I'm always told by my friends, don't talk so much about the Illuminati or that stuff because it'll take away from your cancer. I'm like, yeah, but it's true, and I learned it from this cancer thing. You know, I found out that Rockefeller, who is Illuminati, right up there with the Rothschilds, owned the pharmaceutical companies in the early 1900s. This is why our medical system's screwed today. He invested into the medical schools, got members on the board, and next thing you know, Big Pharma controls what our doctors learn. So our doctors giving us the chemo radiation, a lot of them don't even know what they're doing is wrong. They believe in it. They're so smart. Again, these highly intelligent people don't know how to think outside the box. That's the first thing I did was go back to, well, where did it all change? And that's when I figured out, but what is Illuminati? I said. So I looked that up, and then I found out about 911. After researching that, there's no denying, you know, that story was lied. They lied, again, without getting into it, but they lied to us about that one. So that's the major problems of the world are from the elite, the 1%. And I am grateful for that one movement that got kind of started there, you know, the Occupy Wall Street and stuff, because at least now it's in our consciousness, it's in our vocabulary. If I say 1%, the elite, the masses now know what that means. Before they didn't, you know. So instead of saying Illuminati or Zionists or this or that, I just go the elite, the 1%, the banks, the bankers, the billionaires that run everything. That's why we are in the situation we are. So we have to be our own doctors, like you were. We have to be self-educated, and thank God for the internet we can be. You can learn more, I think Bill Henderson said this, in 6 hours on the internet than any oncologist out there, because you just go to what works, whereas they're taught what, you know, the Big Pharma wants them to learn. So that's very important, people out there. You want to cure your own cancer, man, it's not that difficult. Again, no silver bullet, but we're looking at, in all my time, I'd say low end 60-70% success rates in end-stage cancers using a good holistic alternative program, which must include getting your pH level up, especially if you have a tumor type cancer. You need to get your pH from 5, which it probably is if you have cancer, to 7.2 or so, 7.2, 7.3, and cancer can't live. And that's the one main thread through all protocols. But I will say this, again, looking at all this hemp oil, Rick Simpson told me himself, because he's been helping cure people for years now, decades, with the hemp oil, that a lot of his people, he'll tell them, get on an alkaline diet, take the supplements, do this, and they're just like regular people, you know, they don't care, you know, and they just take the hemp oil, and it still works. And most interesting, and I plan on getting this family on tape if I can, because it was awesome. After him and I did a radio, he called me at home, and they should have recorded that, because we went on for about 2 hours. And he told me about this one family that their child is right now in the hospital getting chemo. So they started sneaking hemp oil into her feeding tube, and a few months later, the kid's cured of cancer. Now, of course, the doctor is saying, well, the chemo's working, we got to keep going with the chemo. They're like, no, we use hemp oil behind your back, scumbag. and still, he won't allow it. And nope, got to stay on the chemo. See, if that was my kid, and that's probably why I don't have a kid right now, because I would probably kill people. I would want to, especially if I didn't have a wife, say, if it was just me, single dad, and they'd murder my child, I'd be like that cop right now running around LA shooting everybody. But I wouldn't be shooting the cops. I'd be shooting frickin', you know, the Illuminati, the politicians, the oncologists. And I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But you know what I'm saying? It drive you insane to watch. If you know how to save your child and they won't even give you that option, and you got to sit there and watch them murder it. I take my hat off to a number of people that I know are going through this right now. You know, God be with you on that one.
I can't even imagine what that's like. I mean, I've got 2 little girls. I'm a dad, and my girls are 4 and 8. And yeah, I cannot even imagine watching them suffer and being powerless to do anything about it.
Yeah, I'm shooting this film, right? I Cure Cancer Part 2. And I'm following Jay Matthews and his family. We're not allowed to mention his daughter's name anymore because that got brought up in court. They actually said that. Who's this Ian Jacklin guy that said he would kill anybody that did that to their kids? I'm like, well, you know, what do you expect? You're trying to murder my child, you know? But anyway, I stayed at his house and was getting his story. And every morning, for the poor little girl, I would hear the scream. The first morning it happened, I was scared. I thought somebody had broken into the home. It was a home invasion, and somebody was being tortured with drills and vice grips and torches. I mean, it was scared the hell out of me. Then I remember he told me they have to go through that every morning because one of the medications that isn't even the chemo does that to her. They have to hold her down and give her the shot, and she's screaming, "Ooh, murder!" Could you imagine having to even hear that happen to your daughter, let alone having to do it? I mean, it's what they're doing to that man is just horrifying, horrifying.
Wow. Yeah, unbelievable. Well, okay, let me plug your site again, icurecancer.com. Go there, buy a copy of the first movie, donate to help Ian. I am personally pledging to donate to help Ian fund this next deal because it's important. What he's doing is he's doing what I'm doing. We're doing the same thing. You know, we're on the same team. That's why I'm excited to be able to share his story. But we got to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. All right, so Ian, we're talking about icurecancer.com, your first movie, and part 2, the movie you're working on. Let me ask you, what are when people, I feel like I know the answer you're going to say, but I really want to hear it. But when people say, like, what do you mean, natural therapies? What do you mean alternative therapies? I mean that stuff doesn't work. If that worked, if they worked, they'd be using it. What do you say to that when people say that to you?
Well, it's great because that's what I used to say. And you know what's funny? Patrick Swayze said that. I feel because I always liked Patrick Swayze. People always called me Patrick Swayze when I was younger. I really wanted to reach that guy. But I saw him on Barbara Walters, and he said those exact same words. Only he was really arrogant about it too. He's like, my doctor would know about it, and it turned around and bit him in the ass. But so I just tell him, you've been brainwashed. I tell them the story about Rockefeller, so they understand where it started. Back in the day, medicine was okay. It was coming along. They used what worked. Then Rockefeller ruined it by bringing in big pharma. And now your doctor probably doesn't even know what he's doing is going to kill you. And what's worse is some of them do, and they still do it. I think 75% of oncologists said they would never do their treatments that they give to others. So, to me, that means you're a murderer. If you're just committing manslaughter, if you're killing people not knowing it. But if you know that you wouldn't even do that to me, you're a murderer, and I don't know how you'll sleep at night. But I basically explained to them that they've been brainwashed, and then I have to get into that whole the elite, the 1% run the world, and we're just numbers to them. We're just useless eating animals, the way they treat us. So once they kind of understand that they're on their own, and hopefully if they're 18 and above, then they can make their own decisions. That's the only thing we got going for us there. But again, the child thing, that's why I'm hoping this film, I don't know how I'm going to change it because every state's the same. Doesn't matter. I've talked to parents, and they've gone to every state, and it's the same. There's a standard of care, standard protocol that every oncologist has to follow with a child, and it's chemo, radiation, surgery, and none of them work, not like the natural stuff does.
Something I want to inject that's just right along with what we're talking about is, there's studies that are published every year. Hundreds of studies are published every year on natural compounds that can slow the growth of cancer, reverse the growth of cancer, and kill cancer cells. Published peer-reviewed studies. They come out every week practically. And so the proof is already out there. It exists, and you can find it on PubMed. I mean, heck, you can get on PubMed and search for garlic and cancer, allicin and cancer, green tea extract cancer, turmeric and cancer. You'll find all this amazing research. But the problem is, that argument that, oh, if there was something better, we'd be using it or we'd know about it. But the thing is, it costs $4 billion, $4 billion on average, to get a drug approved by the FDA. So even though there's research that shows these amazing anti-cancer compounds from nature, they can't be patented, and there's no way they're going to make their $4 billion back.
Right, and that's key to explain to people that are new too, to explain that process to them, because again, they're like, no, they wouldn't be doing that if they're, no, here's why. The elite are so smart, they set it up where it's going to cost you billions of dollars to get a product out there. Hence, nobody ever does it, because you can't make money off of non-patentable things. That's the problem. So that's why you got to research on your own, and go get your apricot seeds, get your hemp oil, and screw the system. That's
tell me some of the best. We've talked about diet a little bit, but tell me, if you had cancer, take me through your systematic protocol that you would try first. Like, what would be phase 1 for Ian?
Okay, I could. I've never really been dove into this because I've never had cancer. And when it comes to other people's lives, I don't mess around. I send them to the best. I send them to Dr. Gonzalez. I send them to, Oklahoma Camelot Cancer Center is a very reputable, great alternative cancer. And if people don't have money to go to a place, then I send them to Bill Henderson, who you buy his book, and for $195, he'll be your personal cancer coach. You call him anytime, talk to him, and he'll tell you. What I would do is if I had money, I would go to Dr. Gonzalez or to the Camelot Cancer Center. If I didn't, I would call Bill Henderson and make sure what I had in my mind was okay, which would be alkaline diet, enzymes, Laetrile, and or apricot seeds. If I couldn't get Laetrile intravenously done, I would apricot seeds. Who I interviewed Jason Vale recently, who's like, I call him apricot god, I call him, because and he wouldn't like that because he's a hardcore Christian. But he's got apricotsfromgod.com, and his story in a nutshell was he was using apricot seeds because the chemo and radiation wasn't working for him. It was working, so he started selling the apricot seeds to others. It was working for them. FDA caught wind of it, came in, shut him down, threw him in prison for 5 years, total bogus. The judge lied in the case. It was horrible. But he had the 5 years, and his cancer came back. And I just interviewed him in New York City over Christmas time, and his cancer's back because in those 5 years he couldn't follow the protocol. And when he got out, he was a little messed up. He admitted, and he wasn't eating right, and now he's fighting it again. So that was sort of a tangent, but basically I'm saying apricot seeds are a huge natural cancer killer, and hemp oil would be the first thing I would get. And I would have no problem getting that in California because it's legal medicinally here. I may have to make it myself because I haven't found anybody that makes that oil yet, but still. So that'd probably be an alkaline diet, all the supplements that to detox and boost, hemp oil, apricot seeds, and a lot of prayer and meditation. That's the key, because whatever gave you cancer, especially if you're an adult, it probably came from emotional trauma one way or another. Dr. Hamer from German New Medicine, he came up with that theory years ago, and it's just now a lot of people are believing in it. And I've seen it myself. The people that don't have it up here and here, they're just sort of like this, downtrodden, depressed, and they're, I'm trying to do it. They don't make it. They never make it. But the ones that are probably like you were, like, hey, I'm fighting this. Forget it. And I'm researching, and they become a sponge, and they cure themselves. I mean, they're the one, and it's the strong, powerful mind, and the people that have maybe a major, they lost a business, they lost a spouse, they lost a child. They can easily connect the cancer to something like that. So you have to learn how to let go, forgive, forget, move on. Maybe not forget, but at least forgive and move on. Because if you don't, if you're hanging on to that, You know, it's going to be tough. All the physical stuff you're doing with the diet and everything, if you don't have a free mind, because thoughts make you acidic as well. You know, thoughts are acidic. They can be. Same as the food you eat. Drinking a Coca-Cola is acidic. Well, thinking bad thoughts towards somebody or somebody else, that's acidic. So that'd be pretty much it in a nutshell. But again, luckily I am who I am, so I can talk to my friends are the kung fu masters of this stuff, so I would make sure I'm on the right thing. But anybody out there that wants to connect with me, I become that connection for you, and I help people for free. I don't even charge. It's nice if you buy a video or something, but I'm always on the line online telling people, and I don't give them advice. I just say, this is what I would do if I was you, because I'm allowed to do that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, your opinion, you're allowed to have an opinion. At least as of right now you are. But yeah, man, I love, I mean, everything that comes out of your mouth is perfect. It's great. I mean, because, you know, I feel like we're sharing a brain.
Yeah.
But you're totally right about the stress connection. I mean, stress and negative emotions are toxic to the body. They raise your stress, basically envy, jealousy, hatred, bitterness, resentment, unforgiveness. Am I forgetting one?
Did you have something bad happen to you when you got yours? Because you're very young to get colon.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was very young, 26. But no, you know, the thing is, I did not have an incident. I did not have a major traumatic incident. But most of the people that I coach, I'm a cancer coach on the side, and most of the people I coach, almost all of them were in a very high stress situation. Some of them had very traumatic experiences leading up to their cancer within a few years. You know, I didn't have any of those major traumas, but what I did realize is that I had a lot of negative emotion, and low-level stress. I had a ton of work-related stress, and I had negative emotions, like just stupid stuff like unforgiveness and jealousy and envy and just things that I were carrying with me that I just had to let go of.
And that makes sense too, because that second chakra, not to get too mystical, but there are 7 energy centers on the spine. You know, the first chakra is survival. Second is emotional and or sexual. The third is like power. You know the chakras?
Yeah.
Okay, and then love, and then creativity, communication, third eye or psychic, and connection to God. Whether you believe in that crap or not, it's just interesting how almost anybody's cancer, you can sort of, wherever, like somebody gets lung cancer, they probably have issues with love, either giving it or receiving it. Down there, you're saying you were stressed, and, you know, so that makes sense. So that's another thing and I learned this through Cynthia, that cured herself of cancer, my ex-girlfriend. She had got me into the meditation too. It's meditation that the Essenes used to do. And it's all about energy. Your body is energy. So this is good because we're on the same topic. If you have emotional issues somewhere in your body that you're holding on to because of a bad relationship or something, know that those energies, there's 7 of them on the spine. They're called chakras. And if you just make them a reality, even if you don't really believe it, just believe it while you're doing your meditation. And you can, what it's called is grounding. You can sort of visualize grounding that chakra to the center of the earth, where it's just gonna, anything that's there is gonna go, and when it gets there, it goes out to wherever it came from, and not only heals you, but heals them. Again, I don't care if you believe it or not, just do it. And that's a way of, because thoughts are energy, and everything is energy. Your body's holding energy in different parts of it. You need to release that energy, and that's where Cynthia was great with her cancer. And she's noticed from all the people that she's helped over the years that people may be perfect on their diet, taking every supplement they need to do, but they don't do as good as the ones that do the mental work or the sex, you know, the work to really just let it go, you know. It's very important.
You have to have the will to live, and you have to be willing to do whatever it takes to live. There's 2 components to that. One is admitting that maybe you may be responsible and being willing to change, and then the second part is, you know, not assuming anything. I mean, being open to any and all options, leaving no stone unturned. You know, to use a cliche, and chasing down every lead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the common trait that I see among all the survivors that I know, is they were determined to live. And yeah, when you're determined to live, you're going to do whatever it takes, and that means your diet, that means your emotional life, your spiritual life, it examining your work environment. I mean, you just have to look at the big picture and see,
Right.
and make sure that that all these, everything about your life, something or many things could be contributing to your sickness. So you have to look at it all.
Yeah, and you see me squirming there a little bit. It's because, God bless you if you're in that situation. What if you're the guy who's got the kid that's been taken away by child services and is being forced chemo? What if you're that guy? You're lucky I'm not that guy, lawyers. I hate the lawyers, the oncologists. Oh, man. Again, my heart goes out to Jay Matthews and Eric, my buddy Eric Vingas. He's going through it too. They're about to do a bone marrow transplant on him. Bone marrow transplants don't work. Again, one of the smartest guys I know, Dr. Gonzalez, interviewing him, he was being taught how to do bone marrow transplants. Being taught how to do it, he was doing it. And they were opening up bone marrow transplants like McDonald's in the 80s when he was learning this. He could have been a millionaire, multimillionaire. And he just saw that, first of all, 30% of the people that take the bone marrow die right away from the transplant. Die. 30%, guaranteed.
Wow.
And then he basically, I mean, he can only say so much because he is an MD and he doesn't want to get too much trouble, but he's basically saying it don't work. Once it has worked, it had like one or two, it's worked. So they have to say it's worked. But it's just horrible. And it not only, because basically what they do, and I never knew this, so I'm glad he told me, when they give you high doses of the radiation and chemo, normally it would kill you because it kills the bone marrow. So they get a bone marrow from somebody else and hit you with that super high chemo and radiation, hoping that it's going to get rid of it. And then they give you somebody else's bone marrow transplant, and they hope they can save your life with that. I mean, it's just a brakemanship way of doing things. It's horrible. So this guy, Eric Vigna, he's waiting. I can't believe he got this. He must have a nice social work or something. The child services allowed them to say no to the chemo for the daughter for now because they're trying to build up her strength to get the bone marrow transplant. That's sort of a, that's still horrible because, okay, granted, nice they let her get off the chemo because it wasn't working. That's the other thing, too. I would see the law as being, okay, we're going to try this chemo and see how it works. If it doesn't work, stop using it. But they don't. They just give them more of it, which is horrible. So, but somehow he got child services to say, no, it's okay. She doesn't have to do chemo. Let's just get her ready for the bone marrow. So he's doing everything in his power, doing the coffee enemas. She's just a little girl, too, like maybe 9 or 12 or something. Every little thing you can think of, they're doing because he's praying and getting her meditating and everything. He wants to get rid of that cancer before it comes to bone marrow transplant time, which I'm hoping and praying he does. But if he doesn't, I don't know what's going to happen to that poor little girl,
Yeah,
so again,
it is a good thing that they had that window of opportunity to try to build up her body and her immune system and detox and do all those things. Man, I hope it does work for him in the time that they have to work with.
I know, but she's already gone through the chemo big time.
Yeah.
So it's, and most alternative places, I'll tell you, yeah, we got an 80% success rate. If somebody came to us and has not done any chemo, radiation, surgery, if they've come to us and they've been through the gamut, they don't promise anything. There's only so much they can do. I know a number of cases where they cured their cancer. They had been through so much chemo, radiation, surgery, doctors said go home and die. They went to the alternative and cured it. There was no cancer left in their body, but they died anyway. And of course, the doctors will write it off as well. They died of cancer, but they didn't. There was no cancer in their body. They died of the chemo. They died of the cure, supposedly. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, the side effects are deadly. I mean, the treatments are brutal. It's frustrating, as you know, to watch people suffer and really not be given no options. You have one option, and if you don't take this option, you're insane, which is what the oncologist told me.
Did you ever confront that scumbag?
I didn't. I never went back. He told me I was insane and scared. Completely scared me to death.
Where do you live?
I'm in Memphis.
Oh, I was hoping you're in California. I was gonna say I'm gonna go grab my camera right now. You and me, we're gonna go to that oncologist, and I might
Yeah.
have to pass. I'll start and I'll shoot you confronting him and saying, "Hey, do you want to know how I did it?" And when he says no, then I'll give you the camera. You put it on me, and I'm gonna tear him a new one. Because that's what happened with Cynthia when she went back to her oncologist at UCLA. They called her a medical miracle. She said, "Well, don't you want to know how I did it?" Nope. Scumbags.
Yeah. They can't do anything with that information. That's the problem. Even even if you told them everything you did and they really liked it and wanted to do it, they're powerless. They can't do it. They can't
Yeah,
use
I
it.
know.
It's
But
not.
I still say they're cowards because they don't have to do what they do. Sure, they got to, give up their money and stuff. But you know what? Too bad you're murdering people. I mean, I don't go and rob banks. I could. I'm a pretty athletic guy. I could get a gun. I could probably do all right. I could kill people too and make a lot of money. But that's illegal and against God, and against my morals. Well, these guys are legally killing people. And they're justified. Well, I got to send my kid to college. What, to be another murderer like you? I mean, these people, I've had to go on welfare. I've been unemployed. I've scrambled my whole life just to make it. So let some of these guys fat cats that are used to being rich and having the Mercedes, this and that, let them go and get food stamps for a while. At least they won't be killing anybody. It's getting pissed off.
Getting all worked up, Ian.
I had a little workout.
Yeah. Well, man, this has been really fun. Really great to
Yeah.
talk to you. And let's just, again, promote and plug what you're doing because Ian's first film, icurecancer.com, is a must watch. I give it 2 thumbs up.
Thanks,
Buy
man.
yourself a copy. Go to icurecancer.com. Buy a copy of the movie. Watch the movie. Share it with people that you know, because all it is it's testimonies from survivors and it's testimonies from doctors that are treating people with natural therapies. And there's so much wisdom in that film. And like I said at the beginning of this interview, we learn, or we can learn, from the experience of others. I mean, that's what life's all about. We learn from each other. And that's everything that I know I've learned from others. When I was desperate to heal myself, I found other natural survivors and I took their advice. So again, now the shoe's on the other foot and I'm trying to push as much information as I can on nutrition and natural therapies because I know it helps people. It helped me. I mean, it's helping people that I know, people that are emailing me every day telling me, thank you, this is helping, this is working, this is what I did, etc. So it's a really amazing thing. And then, of course, please consider, just buying Ian's first movie will help him, but consider donating to help fund his next project because I know he's shot a lot of footage already. He's still trying to compile all this footage and get this thing edited and get it out there. So that'll be icurecancer.com part 2.
Yeah, and basically, just so I used to have it written on the website, but I got some guys throwing a golf tournament for me, and so we didn't want to make it look like I was too desperate for money or anything by putting, well, if you donate this much, you get this, and if so right now there's just a donate button. But if somebody throws $100 in because they can, I send them a copy of part 1 and an IOU basically for part 2 when it's done, and if somebody really wants to come in as a producer and throw in, 1,000 or 5,000 or more, executive producer style, we're open to that, and then we can negotiate as well. Because basically, I've been doing this on blood, sweat, and tears, and in order for it to get edited properly, and then I want it to all the big festivals like Sundance or whatever we can do. That's not going to happen without some help because we need a little bit of extra, But at the very least, get the movie for the information. That's the thing. And because I say anybody that watches my film is now an ambassador. You are now a teacher, whether you want to be or not. Even if that's just giving it to your friend, you've got information in your hands that's going to probably save lives because it has been already.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Ian. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you, brother. You're doing a great job. Keep it up, man.
Thank you. We'll stay in touch for sure.
All right,
And for everybody watching, thanks for watching. If you like this, please share it Please like it on YouTube. Please like it and share it on Facebook and Twitter. Help us get this information out there. Of course, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and check me out at chrisbeatcancer.com. I've got a lot of information on nutrition and natural therapies and other survivor stories besides mine. That's what I'm all about. So again, thanks for watching.